everybody.
Good evening.
Before I get started, I apologise for my accent. If nobody can understand the word I said, just speak to Rose and she'll put you right. And do you know what? When going through them slides then, the one that struck it with me more than anything was that the children in poverty. Why would anybody in their right mind let their children starve and not be clothed properly instead of going out there and earning some money with this fantastic opportunity? It's mind-boggling, isn't it? Yeah. It's horrifying that people allow it to happen. Right, that's my little rant aside. Basically, I'm just here this evening just to go through our Clean Easy story, how we got involved, what we've achieved with Clean Easy, and how our lives have changed for the better with Clean Easy. Now, we've been involved now 12 years, and that time has gone so fast. It's unbelievable how quickly the time has gone. And at the time, I was a retail supervisor before we got involved. Ram was in the armed forces, and a typical day for us was Ram would go to work at 6 o'clock in the morning, come home at 6 o'clock at night. I would work at 5 o'clock at night and come in at 11 o'clock at night. Because we had 2 small children, him being away a lot, we had to do something that was flexible around our children. We didn't have a lot of time together as a family, a couple of hours between 11 and 1 most evenings. But like I say, we had bills to pay. And do you know what? Life was good. We didn't have... Being in the army, everyone expects you to have a fantastic wage. It wasn't a fantastic wage. We were basically working to survive. But we had each other, and we were just living life the way it was. We'd never taken out any sort of financial security anywhere. We were just living our lives day to day. Now, this was, right, he wants me to put his action shot. The reason Ram's not here this evening is he's in hospital, so I've been asked to come and share our story. So there's a few of the slides are Ram's slides that he wanted me to put in. Now, this was Ram when he joined the armed forces. He was a paratrooper. The reason he was a paratrooper was they got paid extra £2.67 a day to throw themselves out of the back of a plane, basically. And that's his action shot there. But you know what? He loved his army career, loved it. Wanted to do the whole 22, could see that this was the way forward for him. And basically, we met in the army, so there was some good things about it. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to spend 22 years in the army, retire out, have a good pension, and basically enjoy life. We had an army house, which was given to us obviously by the army, so we never ever forward thought about anything happening because we assumed that this job was for life. How wrong we were when Ram was involved in a serious accident. This was our life in March 2001. We had an army quarter, we had a £1,300 income coming in every month, and Ram had the car that he always wanted, the Golf GTI. He's a bit of a boy racer, and that was the sort of car that he liked, so we had one of them as well. And in one foul swoop, it was all taken away. Ram was involved in a serious accident in which he shattered both of his legs. Being in the army, he couldn't do the job he was paid to do anymore. So they gave him 6 months to find an alternative career, a house, and basically rebuild his life. So we were made homeless at the end of that 6 months. So it was probably one of the darkest, in fact it was the darkest part of our life. We just couldn't see how anything was going to change because we didn't put away. Do you know what? Hindsight is a wonderful thing. If we knew now what we knew, if we knew then what we know now, would we have not been so reckless with our money? And both being young and being married young, we didn't save, we didn't put anything away, and we just basically drank our wages and just had a fantastic life the first few years of our marriage. If we know then obviously we would have. But we didn't know this was going to happen. It was one of those things, and at the end of the day, it was a desperate situation, and that's when we came across a card that had been left on our car. We were living in Newcastle at the time, and every week, without fail, we would go shopping and there'd be a card on our car. And every week, without fail, we'd pull that card off, throw it on the floor or in the car, whatever, but we'd never ever look at it because we weren't looking for anything. We were happy with the way it was. But obviously our circumstances changed. That's one tip that I'm going to give now more than anything, is be persistent with your cardinal fly ring, because you never know when someone's circumstances are going to change, and they change on a daily, weekly and monthly basis. So Ram phoned up the the card and decided, do you know what, I'll give it a ring and see. And I said, please don't phone it up, it's going to be one of them scam things. And he said, no, I'll phone it. And 24 hours later, an information pack arrived for a company called Clean Easy. Now, we'd never ever seen Clean Easy before. We'd been in the force, we'd travelled all over. We'd never seen a Clean Easy catalogue, we knew nothing about the company. And when Ram got that information, he was really, really excited about the opportunity because he could see how it would get us out of our financial hole. I, on the other hand, was a bit more sceptical of what Ram was. In fact, I begged him not to take it any further. It was a scam. I couldn't understand how anyone could earn any sort of money delivering and collecting catalogues. We needed to replace £1,300. How the heck was it going to do that, delivering and collecting catalogues? It was just madness as far as I could see. But that's just because I didn't understand what it was all about. So I begged him not to take it any further, and as per usual, he didn't listen, and 24 hours later, Peter Rea was in our house. Now, cue the very first of many Clean Easy arguments that happen in our house. Peter Rea had come into our house, sat down, was doing an appointment on Ram, and we were in the hallway arguing. And what Peter must have thought, because we weren't just a little tiny argument. Anybody who knows, or anybody who's from Liverpool, know we don't have tiny arguments. It's full voices. So we were arguing in this hallway, and Peter was looking as if to say, oh my God, I hope these two don't join. So I stormed out and come out back 2 hours later to find that Peter was still there, and I thought, oh, what have I got to do to get him out of our house? And basically I had to sign the agreement because Ram didn't have any credit history. So I signed the agreement that day for two reasons. One, to get Ram out, to get Peter Rea out of our house, and the second was to shut Ram up. So we signed, but I vowed I didn't want anything to do with it at all. And if anybody's ever had a sceptical partner, I was probably the worst one ever. At every single opportunity, I was negative, I was abusive. I was just not understanding at all about how Clean Easy was going to work, and I vowed that I didn't want anything to do with it. Now, this went on for probably a couple of months. In his first 4 weeks, Ram earned over £269, which was fantastic, but it still wasn't replacing a full-time income, and that's all I was bothered about. How are we going to get that money? Because in a couple of months' time, we're going to be homeless, and we've got nothing. But he wouldn't listen to me. Our sponsor quit. So I was like, right, obviously he knows it doesn't work, so you've got to quit now, and he wouldn't quit. And then one Sunday afternoon, Ram offered to take me out for lunch, which, with having the kids and that, we never really got out often anyway. So it was a real treat, and we pulled up to a beautiful stately home in Northumberland, to a sea of earn extra income cars. They were everywhere, and I'd realised then that he'd taken me to one of his cult meetings. He was going to brainwash me. So cue another argument, this time in the car park. People think that I'm exaggerating this, I'm probably playing it down a little bit. An argument in the car park, again, to shut Ram up. I went in, and if anybody could read body language, I was sat at the back of the room, my arms folded, like this, huffing and puffing. And everyone who got up and spoke on that day talked about lifestyle, talked about cars and money and houses, and to be quite honest, we'd never had any of that, so none of it appealed to me. And I sat there thinking, do you know what, it's all a load of rubbish this. As soon as I can't wait to get out of here. So I got a bit excited towards the end, because when they announced the final speaker, I thought, oh my God, thank God for that, I can get out of here soon. And the guy got up and started talking about the quality of time he had with his family, the time he spent with his wife and his children. And that's when the penny finally dropped for me. I didn't need the cars and the houses and the money and all that sort of stuff. I just wanted time with my children. I spent, when they were in school, they used to come in at 3:30, and at 4:30 I'd go to work, so I'd see them for an hour, because when I come in at 11 they'd be in bed. And I really, really missed out, and they were only 5 and 7 at the time, and I missed out on so much because I had to work, because we had to provide for our children. So this guy got up and started talking about that, and that was when it really, really hit home. And I said to Ram, what do I need to do? Or what do we need to do to have what he's got? And he said, well, you've got to shut and start listening for a start. So that was the start of my Clean Easy journey. When Ram will talk at one of these meetings, and you'll get his side, which is not true. So that was the start of our Clean Easy business. And From that day, 12 weeks later, we went gold distributor because we knew that that was coming up to the 6 months and we had to replace the income. And I take my hat off to you, £5,700 worth of these are absolutely fantastic. We used to retail on average between 4 and 4.5 because we knew that that income from our retail would pay our bills. We didn't want to rely on anybody else. We sorted ourselves out, so we got to gold distributor 6 months into our business and qualified for a free trip to Monte Carlo. And for anybody, go back. Ram left the army with a few more bits than what he initially went in with. These are a couple of pins that he's got on his legs. And a £400 per month pension off the army, that's what they're giving. But when we went gold distributor, that obviously was on top of our £1,260 income from Clean Easy. So we matched and gave ourselves a bit more by the 6 month period. And we'd also qualified for the Clean Easy conference. Now, we've been fortunate enough that we've qualified for 15 Clean Easy conferences, and do you know what? You can't, Dave and Angela agree with me, and Peter and Myrna, so anybody who's been on a conference, you cannot describe what they are all about. You can only show pictures and people and get excited, but you can't describe it. You've got to be there. It's not just about the destination you go to, it's about the people you mix with, it's about the things they do, the little touches that they do. I remember when we went to Mauritius, you went to Mauritius as well, and every night you'd come in, and it was lovely the first night, they'd get a swan, and they'd do a lovely towel on your bed with all these rose petals and chocolates, and it was lovely the first night, but after the second or third night, for God's sake, get this stuff off the bed, you just want to go to bed. And the amount of times Ram went to bed and woke up with chocolate on the side of his face. But it was all them little touches that they do, but you can't capture it unless you've been on one. And that's why the 31st of August is so important for you all. If that's something that you want to do and get on these free holidays, which I recommend you do, because I'm like Dave, if it's free, we want it. Anything free we will have. I was looking at the pens before, and I said to Jordan, there's some pens there. He said, do you know what? They're free. But if it's free, then why not? They spend £5,000 per person, treating you like royalty. They're absolutely superb. But it's not just about the places you go, it's the places you stay. And these are places that are out of this world. The bottom one there, the Sun City, it's like your favourite as well, Myrna. It's one of my favourite places because you just can't put it into words. Everything. But you'd have your breakfast and you'd have toast crumbs. I don't know what it's like anywhere else, but whenever we have breakfast, it's like carnage. And they used to have this little butler come with this silver dustpan and brush doing this. As you're having your breakfast, and it's like, wow, look at that. But it's all them little things, but the places you stay in are absolutely fantastic. That's the Copacabana Beach Hotel at the top there that we stayed in Rio. And the Rolling Stones were there a couple of weeks before we were. They played on that balcony, and it's like, and you're Clean Easy agents, and you're in the same place. It doesn't quite compute, but the places you go and where you stay are absolutely superb. And this is the people you meet. We have got so many friends in Clean Easy from so many diverse age ranges to backgrounds that we'd never ever have met if we weren't in Clean Easy. It's one of them things that you get to meet people as you go along, and as you get on these conferences you get to see the real people. And this was taken in New York just before we went on a helicopter ride over the Empire State Building and all that sort of stuff. But it is the people that you mix with. You just don't laugh so much as you do, because it's just like being on a massive family holiday. Everyone gets on with each other. It's really, really good, but they are bad for your health because you eat too much because it's free. You drink too much because it's free. You don't sleep enough and you laugh too much. And it takes you about 2 weeks to get over these conferences, but they're definitely worthwhile doing. So we've qualified for those conferences. We've also been fortunate enough to be awarded a free Mini Cooper as well. It wasn't free, we worked hard in our business with business sales to get that. And that, having that dropped off at your doorstep, it's an unbelievable. You keep expecting someone to come and say, can you just sign these hire purchase papers, please? Or to come and take it back the following week. And as you see, it's got Ram's number plate on, because that was his baby. But we kept it for 3 years. We did keep our car for 3 years. But as you can imagine, we've got 2 boys. And when the car came, they were a bit smaller than what they were when it went, because one of them was over 6'4" and the other one's 6 foot. And trying to get the 4 of us in that was ridiculous. So we had to opt, and it broke Ram's heart when it went. It broke Ram because he wanted to keep it, and I said no. So, but we only got that on our business growth, and the reason we got the business growth was 15 people in our team qualified for the Budapest conference, and they grew their income. They decided they wanted to go gold, and due to that happening, then we won the Mini Cooper as well. So it was a win-win situation for everyone in our team as well. This was our plan, well, it was Ram's plan when he first started with Clean Easy, and you can see there's a hell of a lot to help with. And being in the army, we're both very regimented on what we do. We still use daily planners, we use weekly planners, we use to-do lists, because we know that there's certain things that need doing. If you, I won't bother with my plan today. I'll just meander through, and then you forget something, and then you don't do this and don't that, and it just doesn't work at all. This is how we built our Clean Easy business in the first 6 months, and it's all about utilising them pockets of time, making sure that you're doing the things you're doing when you're supposed to be doing them. And it was all fitted around Ram's work, and you can see there's phone calls and everything. Saturdays are always off, and I'll talk through that in a minute. I'm not looking at the time, but you'll see me looking at the time every now and again, because Ram, his parting words to me as he went to the hospital this evening was, do not waffle, do not overrun, and don't talk too much. And I thought, hypocrite, how can you even say that to me? So Jordan's recording it, so he's timing it as well, so I'm making sure that I'm on time. But this is our plan now. This is what we do now. Catalogues, I still retail. It's me that retails now. We don't quite do, although now that he's here, that you do 5, 7, it probably won't meet up my retail as well now. But I do on average a couple of 100 catalogues a week, and it brings in about £1,000 worth of sales. But that helps us to reinvest it back into our business. And the rest of the time, where all the gaps are, is when we do our activity, when we do our appointments or phone calls, when we do our team stuff, tracking. You see Friday is all marked out for team tracking. End of the period, start of the new week, we track with our team every week. Saturdays are always days off, and I do my deliveries on a Sunday. I always have. My customers know when I'm coming, exactly, they've got the money ready. So, and you can see the flexibility now that we have with our time is unbelievable. But the flexibility you can have with your business is unbelievable. I don't know any business, especially for Ram, it's been 12 years in the making of his ongoing problems at the hospital, that he would never get employed. He'd never get a job, because what boss is going to say, oh, well, do you know what, you need to go to the hospital list, and yeah, we'll let you have it off. There's just no bosses out there that'll do that. So Clean Easy for us, and the flexibility it gives us, means that if something comes up, he can go, and he can go to the hospital, and we can do things with the kids. So that's basically our plan now. Baggage, what baggage? No, we all come into this business with some sort of baggage. And like Dave said before, it's about how you mentally handle things that are thrown at you. If you've got something, or an income goal, or whatever you want to achieve with this business, if you start letting people dictate, or people affect what you do and what you want to achieve, then do you know what? You're in the wrong business. You need to be focused on what you want to achieve, and no matter what is thrown at you, because we could have quite easily quit this business years ago. Could have quite easily walked away if we let things that affected us, as in Ram being in that hospital, as in the kids needing time to do things, if we would have let that, as in family members being negative, as in family members having an opinion about our business, we could have quite easily walked away. We could have quite easily walked away, but then again, we would have walked away from our fantastic business and our income, and then they would have won anyway. So it's all about having the right mental attitude when it comes to things that are happening in your own life. Those things are going to happen in your life anyway, but don't let it affect you. And that's my best bit of advice, is just baggage. What baggage? Just don't take any notice of anything that anybody else says. Just keep your eyes on your prize. So, Saturdays off. We are avid Blackpool fans. Is there any Preston fans in here? And every Saturday, this is what we do as a family, and some people think it's sad, but do you know what? Every week we travel home and away to Blackpool, up and down the country, and we follow Blackpool. The 4 of us, although it's now 3 of us because Danny doesn't tend to come as much. But that's what we've done for years. Saturdays are our days with our children. that we want to spend that time with them. And Jordan won't mind me saying that what's also happened is when Jordan's got dyslexia, and when he was going to high school, we decided to get a private tutor to help him with his studies and to basically just get him a better start in life, in his educational life as well, because we knew the schooling system would eventually get to him, but it would have been too late. So we decided to pay for a private tutor to help him. And if we were in Cleanies, we would never ever be able to afford that. We'd never have the time to sit down with the both of them, which we did. We took time out of our business to make sure when they were going through the GCSEs and A-levels that we were there every day. Have you done your revision? More so as a support and guide, because it's one of the most stressful times in a child's life, and you just leave them to it. So we wanted to make sure that our children, where they had a support structure behind them, that if something was going wrong, they could look at us and say, do you know what, we need some help. And that's what we did. Jordan passed all of his GCSEs, even got A-levels and is going to university. And Danny's going through his A-levels now. And I don't believe, some people think it's a bit, I don't believe that if we were in Clean Easy, our children wouldn't be the children they are, if you know what I mean. Clean Easy, we've grown up with our children for the past 12 years in Clean Easy. We've been to every single sports day, every single Christmas party, whatever they needed, we've been there. And that's what Clean Easy's offered us. It's offered us that opportunity to watch our children grow up. Instead of shoving them to a childminder, which is what we used to do, it's given us that opportunity to watch them grow up. And this is us in Berlin last December. Danny's doing history, A-level history, I think then. And he decided that he'd gone on and he was really, really struggling. He had an assignment to do, and he was really, really struggling with the whole Nazi history sort of thing. And we said, well, come on, get the internet up. And there wasn't really a lot there. There was a couple of pictures. And Ram turned around and said, do you know what? We're going to Berlin next weekend because we can. And he said, well, we can't. You can't just. He said, yes, we can. We don't have to justify ourselves to a boss. We don't have to book time off with anybody. We've got the money. We're going across. And he had a history lesson off a tour guide in Berlin. And he'd come back and he read his paper and he got an A for it. And you'll see the camera around, he's a photographer as well, and he was doing A-level photography. The amount of photos he's took when we were over there as well, and his teacher, when our parents even, she said to us, I've never known anybody take their children across to Germany for a history lesson. And we said, well, why can't we? And that's what Clean Easy's giving us. It's given us the opportunity